Hi, this is Rainbow Harmony, here to help you find balance and peace to live a more colorful life. And this is 10 signs that they are your soulmate. If this reading resonates with you, definitely subscribe, like, comment, share. And I want to thank you guys for visiting my channel, Rainbow Harmony. Let's go ahead and get started with number 1. So, number 1, the number 1 sign that someone is your soulmate is that there is an instant, intense connection when you first meet this person. So, I'm talking about the second that your eyes lock, the second that this person walks into the room, you know that you are attracted to them. It could be something simple like the way that they look. You know, usually we're very physical, very visual beings, and so we'll usually be attracted to someone's looks, but there's usually more to it than that. There's like an aura around this person. And we are talking about soulmates in a love context. Soulmates can also be relatives or friends or cousins or coworkers, but today we're talking about this in a love situation. So you are feeling more of like a romantic attraction to them, a physical attraction to them the second that you meet. And so the thing about this is that there's like an instant kind of flirtiness between you guys and a playfulness where both people kind of instantaneously are attracted to each other at the same time. I'm sure you've experienced it before where you have felt an instant attraction to someone and you've tried to catch their eye or you've walked up to them and there's just nothing coming back from that person. They're just like, what's up? They shake your hand, they move on, and it's kind of sad and it's a blow. But that's not how it is with soulmates. With soulmates, the other person is going to be equally as excited to meet you, even if they try to play it cool. And some ways you can also tell as well is when soulmates lock eyes with each other, their eyes will dilate and get wider. And this is actually a sign of attraction. This can also happen when you're not soulmates, but this is also coupled with the intense connection. There is a sense of familiarity when you first meet your soulmate, as if you've met them from somewhere before. I've had this one situation in my life where I actually met a soulmate. I've met many soulmates. Many of us have many soulmates on our path. And it was so intense, of course, when I met this person, intense connection. They actually asked me, like, have we met before? And I felt this so genuinely from this person. Like, I felt like I'd met them before too, and I didn't feel like it was like a corny pickup line. It was like this person legitimately being like, where have I seen you or met you? Because like, just like this familiarity. And so if you've experienced that feeling, you'll know exactly what I mean. It's like you feel as if you've met them before, and the truth is you have. You most likely met this person in another life. And so, yeah, you feel as if you've met before. There's a playfulness, there's an optimism, and kind of a youthful energy surrounding your first meeting. And there's basically romantic feelings from the second that you meet this person. You know that this is something more than just a friend or just an acquaintance. You have this feeling like everything brought you here to this moment to meet this person. It starts making you believe in the universe and believe in synchronicity or in miracles or in, you know, being at the right place at the right time. It's just this instant connection. So that's the first sign, an instant, intense connection that is shared between both people. Maybe it's even something that's brought up. You know, have I met you somewhere before? A familiarity. Eyes are dilating. You recognize their eyes. They look familiar. You are like, have I met you? Have I dreamed about you? It's very bizarre. So the second sign. The second sign that this is your soulmate is that the friendship grows quickly. So this person will most likely ask you for your number, or you'll ask for their number. You'll find some way to communicate, or you'll find each other online or something, and you'll start texting and talking, and it just goes back and forth so easily, you know. And everyone has their own different styles of like pursuing, you know, where some people are very forward, some people are a little shy, but regardless, this person is pursuing you, or depending on what your chosen role is in the relationship, you are pursuing this person and they are you know, giving back. The energy is very parallel, like you guys equally give and receive. So if you're texting them, they're texting you back, vice versa. They are actually putting energy and effort into the relationship, and it starts to become more of a friendship. What happens at this point for some soulmates is that you guys will basically accidentally friend zone each other. And I see this happen a lot with soulmates where they'll basically end up in the friend zone because the connection is just so intense and so good that you become friends because you're like, wow, like we have so much in common, like there's this connection, you want to tell them everything. And sometimes this does lead you to friend zone your soulmate. And I'll probably do another video on how to get out of the friend zone with your soulmate. Sometimes the relationship will just naturally kind of take its course to like growing slowly towards a connection. Sometimes it ends up just being a platonic soulmate, but this is a reading here on love. And so normally what you'll see is a friendship will grow, and this person will want to pursue you and take their time and, you know, want to hang out with you. It's not always about just getting intimate right away with the soulmate. It's more like, I want to know your mind, I want to know your heart, like I want to know what makes you tick. And so you'll feel more romanced by your soulmate than by just someone who's a karmic who just wants to hit it and quit it, or someone who just, you know, wants to be with someone. It's going to be more like they really admire you for who you are and actually want to pursue you. And so the friendship will grow quickly, and maybe on the first or second time you guys are hanging out, you guys will be finishing each other's sentences. So there's like that whole weird thing where you feel like you can read their mind, or you're just finishing their sentences. Some soulmates even experience reading each other's thoughts, where the energy will shift all of a sudden, and you'll feel like you know what they're gonna say next, or you can tell if they're sad or if they're happy, or you feel very emotionally connected to them. You can sense their energy and their feelings, even if you haven't known them very long. There will definitely be lots of texting, like hanging out. You know, once again, the friendship will grow quickly. And I'm going to say one of the biggest signs that this is your soulmate is that they're pursuing you, okay? They're going to pursue you no matter what the situation is. And they'll do it in their own time, in their own way, and at their own pace, but they'll be pursuing you, or they will be receiving your advances when you pursue them. So yeah, the friendship grows quickly is number 2. So number 3, the third sign. Well, signs appear to everyone in a very different and intimate way, but I'm talking about maybe number signs, you know, like 1111 or 777, like you'll see repeating numbers. And I think the numbers 777 and 1111 are probably the biggest ones, because those have to do with soulmates, with union and stuff like that. You know, sometimes you might see 222 or 111. Those can mean something different. I'm thinking 1111, 777, those are really strong signs of like a love connection or a love union or something positive that's happening in your life. I have another friend who, on her first date with her soulmate, she had this huge butterfly land on her face, and it was like the craziest thing. First of all, because this butterfly was like the size of my hand. Okay, she sent me pictures and video and footage of this whole thing. It was just bizarre. She's like, I met my soulmate, it's a sign. And I was just like, dang, you did. A huge butterfly, you know. And this is in California, where, you know, I don't usually see butterflies that big, so it was just absolutely amazing. And they were having this beautiful date, and everything was so synchronistic, and then this butterfly comes and flies around them and lands on them, and you know, so something kind of out of the blue or out of the ordinary can happen when you're with this person. You might see shooting stars or a rainbow, or maybe you see an animal you've never seen before, like you both, you know, come across a bunch of deer or something. It could be anything, honestly. It could be like some kind of billboard that you pass on the freeway that just has this message and you get this feeling in your stomach. And also, you're not looking for the signs, because I really do believe if you go looking for something, you're gonna find it. It's something that just literally hits you in the face. It could even be something silly, like you both end up wearing the same outfit to the first date. Like you both show up wearing like a blue shirt and, you know, tan pants or something with like, you know, the same kind of shoe color, and you're just like, what? So there could be some of that going on, just like weird synchronicities. I would actually like it if you guys shared your stories below about some of the synchronicities you've had while meeting a soulmate. So there's signs or synchronicities, and then something else that will happen is you'll keep bumping into this person. You might have met them at a party or something, and then a week later you see them at the grocery store, and then you see them, you know, you sign up for school and you see them at your class or something. You're like, wow, why do I keep bumping into this person? So I feel like, honestly, that kind of reminds me of the movie You've Got Mail. It's the cutest movie ever. Have you guys seen it? How she keeps bumping into the guy. So, and sometimes you might quite literally feel like you're in like a 90s rom-com, because you're just like, this is too weird, this is too coincidental. So there's like magical, mysterious things happening, drawing you guys together. There's a lot of coincidences. There might even be coincidences with you guys were born on the same day, or your great-grandparents were friends or something, or you realize that you both lived in the same small town or something, or you both went to the same school but you never ended up meeting each other till years later. Or you actually, with a soulmate that I met, I found out that we were at the same party once, but for some reason we just didn't connect at that party. We ended up meeting somewhere else years later, but we realized we both had pictures from this same party on our Facebook, and we were like, that's weird. Like, you just kind of realize some weird things like that. I mean, it's a small world once again, so it's common you'll have coincidences and, you know, familiar with certain people, but I'm talking about downright synchronicities where there's no explanation, it's just too many, and it's just kind of funny. So yeah, maybe you'll see signs out in nature, something like that. This is talking about like balance, synchronicity, magic that's happening between you guys, and this overall energy of love, of course. So the next sign number 4. Sign number 4 is that other people notice the connection, okay? So you don't necessarily have to have this sign for them to be your soulmate. It's just one of the signs, but when you guys meet, if you're with your friends or something, later that night, or they'll pull you aside and they'll be like, so what's going on with that person like you just met? People will ask you about them. You might even get asked if you're a couple or in a relationship. Like maybe you met this person, they buy you a drink, you're sitting down, and someone like comes up to you and they says, oh, you know, is this your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your partner? And you might just be like, no, I just met this person. But people will feel that intense energy around you and ask, are you together? Or, you know, they'll be interested. There'll be a really strong vibe around you. Your friends will notice that you met someone. They'll tease you about it, you know. They'll be excited for you. They'll be like, go for it. Generally, your friends or your family will be happy for you and like encourage the relationship. Pay attention to anybody in your life who doesn't encourage the relationship. Sometimes those aren't always the people that you want to surround yourself with. Obviously, friends and family can be protective, but most of the time, if it's a good energy, it's someone you're into, you're happy, they'll want you to be happy. So once again, this isn't one of the signs that has to be like, if this doesn't happen, they're not your soulmate, but this generally does happen around a soulmate connection, and people will be wanting to try to like help you guys. I remember when I met one of my soulmates, I had a friend who like offered to like drive them to like meet up with me or something, because like way back in the day I didn't have a car, and so like people will want to help, or they'll be interested, or they'll be happy for you and they'll notice, or they'll tease you about it. Even if like you feel like you're not being obvious, people they'll notice that there's an attraction there. They might even be the people to tell you. They might be like, hey, have you noticed that so-and-so is into you, or they've been looking at you? So yeah. Sign number 5. is you feel safe around this person. So there's going to be a certain amount of anxiety that comes with, you know, dating somebody new, meeting a soulmate. Do they like me? Do they not? Are they going to call? You know, is it going to happen? What's going to happen next? Maybe also if you've had baggage in love before, like many of us do, you might be freaking out, feel a little nervous, but this person will have like this strange ability of really just making you feel calm and making you feel safe. You might feel really nervous and panicky leading up to your meetings and to your dates, but when you're in their presence, it's like time stands still. You don't worry about anything. They make you feel comfortable. Like they go out of their way to just be present with you. You never feel like you're being weird around them. You can really be yourself around them. You don't feel like you have to hide anything about yourself. You know, if you accidentally overshare something with this person, like they won't be weird about it. Like they'll just be cool. I feel like, you know, you'll feel like there's nothing you can do to mess up the connection because it's just that strong, and you'll feel safe to just be who you are and be comfortable in your own skin. And it can make you feel over time confident to be around this person, and actually even make you feel more confident in yourself as you realize, you know, you can be accepted for who you are. You don't have to change yourself for anyone. You don't have to hide your flaws. And they might even tell you that like your flaw is beautiful. Like if you have ears that stick out or something, they'll tell you that's cute. Or if you feel like your nose is too big or something, they'll say they like it. Like, you know, I have these silly feet that like curl, and I remember one of my soulmates once telling me that they liked my feet, and I was like, oh my god, that's like the sweetest thing, because I have the crazy ugliest feet. So you know what I mean? They'll compliment you on some of your features you don't like, or they'll be attracted to some aspects of yourself you can't even see. Like they'll really see you pretty much through rose-colored glasses. They'll see you in your best light, and it's a great feeling to have. And so they make you feel really safe. And you can be yourself around them. So number 6 is you share similar interests and goals. Now I know many soulmates where like one of them works in tech and the other one does community service, but like maybe what brings you guys together is your heart to help others and your passion and your caring and your love. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to work in the same industry or that you have to like necessarily do the same things. Like maybe your soulmate likes sports and you hate sports, but you guys can bond over your mutual love of animals or something like that. So, you know, there's going to be certain differences, of course, and I think that differences are the quirks that make a relationship stronger, because if like every single thing is in common, that might be a little boring sometimes. So you do see that with soulmates where every single thing is in common. It works for some people, but I'm just talking about like your beliefs. Like perhaps you subscribe to a certain religion or belief and like they'll feel the same way about it. Or perhaps you have a certain worldview or, you know, a certain political view, and they will typically agree with you on that. I, you know, met soulmates who disagreed or who were from different religions or different backgrounds, and they still made it work. I think that's another thing too, is that your soulmate will be very tolerant of anything that they don't agree with. They'll still be tolerant of it. Let's say like you're really into tarot cards and spirituality and prayer and meditation and Reiki, but your soulmate is like an atheist and they're just not really into anything and they just like kind of want to do their own thing. Like if it's a soulmate, you guys will bond on other things and you'll respect that belief of theirs and you won't try to change them, and they'll respect your beliefs, and it won't be anything you guys argue about. Like you'll be like, cool, like let's coexist. Like you do your thing and I do my thing, and what works for you works for you, what works for me works for me. And so that's another thing with soulmates, is that like if there are things that you guys disagree on, I wouldn't even call it a disagreement. Like it's respect. It's respect for each other's backgrounds. It's respect for each other's views. It's respect for each other's beliefs. And that's something that soulmates really have between each other, is that mutual respect. And like usually you'll admire and like the fact that your soulmate will have different views or beliefs or schools of thought than you do. And you guys will teach each other and bring out the best in each other without trying to impose stuff on each other. That's something else I'm going to say for this point, is you're not going to impose anything on this person, and you're really not going to try to change them. Like you like them just the way they are. And And naturally, as a course of being in a relationship together, you will change. You will rub off on each other a little bit, but that's never the point to change them. And so you'll see that more in a karmic relationship where you'll butt heads over things and try to change each other. But this is like a harmony type relationship where it doesn't really matter. You guys just want to love each other. The other thing I'm going to say here is that you guys will have certain goals together. Like you might realize that when you meet, maybe you guys are both saving to buy a house, and you're like, this is weird. Like, you literally have this much saved up to buy a house. I have this much. Like, obviously that's not something you're going to tell each other on the first date, but you start dating or something and you realize, wow, we've both been saving for this thing. Like, maybe we can do it together. Like, maybe you both want to have like a rescue ranch and rescue animals, and you thought there was no one else out there you meet that would want to do that, and that's literally their dream. Or perhaps you want to travel the world, and your soulmate loves traveling as well and has been trying to manifest that. It could be anything, really. Maybe you guys both want to go back to school or something and realize, wow, like we could do this together. And so that's something I see as like this partnership in the soulmate type relationship where you guys will share similar goals, similar beliefs, or you have been through kind of similar things. Like perhaps you're divorced, you have 2 kids. Maybe you meet somebody who is divorced and has 2 kids, and like you're looking for love and something new, and so are they, and you guys are like, this is weird, like what? So I've seen that. I do a lot of readings for people who are soulmates, and you'll see like these strange coincidences or like these goals and these beliefs you have that are similar, and then also the respect for anything that's not. Very, very interesting with soulmates. So number 7 is psychic and telepathic connection. So with number 7, there is a psychic and telepathic connection, which means if you are in a separation from your soulmate, you will every once in a while get this feeling like they're having a really bad day. And then maybe they'll text you and be like, I've had an awful day. Or they'll post something on social media and they're just like, it's like a selfie and they're like crying, or they're just like pissed and they're just like, worst day ever or something. And you're like, that's weird. I was just thinking about them and I got this vibe like something was off. You might really deeply empathize with one another. Like you'll really care about them. And if they tell you that they've been going through a hard time in their life, or they share something with you about like someone passed away, or they're battling an addiction, or they got in a car crash, or they lost their job or something, like you will like deeply empathize with them. But you'll also really believe in this person and know no matter what happens to them, they're gonna be okay. Like you empathize with them, but it's different than like pitying them. It's like you still see them in the best light possible, no matter like what they're going through, and you see the true them. And I'm also gonna say with this one, if you are in a separation from this person, like you trust in that, and you trust that like that they'll come back if they're meant to. If this truly is your soulmate and you're meant to have a romantic connection and be together, you trust that like whatever it is they need to go through on their own, that they're gonna do that and take as much time as they need, and like you stay strong and confident in yourself and you keep going, and you just trust in divine timing. Even if it's hard, you trust that there will be that reconciliation. And this is also, the psychic and telepathic connection really has to do also when you're in person and you're actually dating this person, being able to tell like right before they walk in the door that like they have good news or something. Like you just know, okay, like they got that promotion, or like something good happened. Like it also can be really positive where you can sense like something big has happened with them. And the psychic connection, the longer that you know your soulmate, the stronger it can get. It can be really interesting. Like you can be thinking about them and then your phone will ring and they'll call and you'll be like, that is so weird, I was just gonna call you. This even happens with some of my friends I haven't talked to in forever, not even romantic partners. So I'll probably do another one of these for like just platonic soulmates. But once again, in a romantic relationship, it's interesting because you will over time develop a very psychic and telepathic connection with them. And it's just because your soul knows them so well. You've most often gone back many lifetimes. There's just a really strong resonance there. the next one is number 8. So this one's interesting. It's you don't care if other people want them. Okay, so going back to soulmates who are kind of in separation or who haven't really made that connection yet, sometimes I speak with people who have met a soulmate, but their soulmate is in a relationship with someone else, or who has just broken up with someone, or who's in a complicated relationship or something like that. And so if this is your soulmate and you're, you guys, it's a mutual thing, usually you will be cool with it. Like, you'll understand that if they're with someone else, then that is what's meant to be. And like, that person is helping teach them lessons and blessing them and opening up their heart so that they learn important lessons. Even if it's somebody toxic, you will still like welcome that energy and be thankful that like that has crossed their path to teach them and to help them. And so it's like this peace. It's like this peace you have of just being like, whatever's meant to be is meant to be. And if other people are like crushing on them, or their ex is trying to get back with them, like, you are so grounded in the knowingness of this connection that you don't worry about that. And you know that ultimately your soulmate chooses you above all else. And whatever's meant to happen in their life, whoever they're meant to date or be with or connect with for whatever reason, like, you trust in that. And you trust in exactly where you're at with this person on the journey at all times. Not saying that that's easy, or that you don't have times where you're upset or sad about it, or worried about like, or lurking them and being like, who's this person like they were hitting on or that they were with or whatever. Like, that always happens. Like, our ego always kind of does that to us. But I think ultimately you find peace in knowing that you don't have to worry about where you stand with this person, and that, if they are still cutting cords with another person or still in a soul contract with another person, you trust that that is for their greatest good and for your greatest good, and you wish them nothing but the best. And I think that's something that happens with the soulmate relationship. Is just, even if you're waiting for this person, you don't worry about that whole situation. You just trust that in divine timing, it's going to bloom, it's going to blossom, it's going to grow. And if somebody else is trying to get them, like, let's say you're hitting on this person or they're hitting on you and you guys are like hanging out and like someone tries to swoop, like, you don't worry about that. You might be annoyed, you might be peeved, but you don't worry, because you once again, you trust in your soulmate connection to that extent. And here's number 9. So with number 9, the 9th sign is that the intimacy is intense. Like, you don't even have to hold this person's hand or kiss them. Just sitting next to them, there's like an intense energy. Like, it's orgasmic just being in their presence. You might see a picture of them and your heart will just like flip-flop. Your stomach will you'll get the shudders. And it's more than just like being sexually attracted and being aroused. It's actually like just this energy. It's like this thirst you have for them. And it's like way more intense than any other attraction or chemistry. And so yeah, we've got this passion card here, we've got this chemistry card, and it's true because it's a past life relationship. So I actually do want to read this card about soulmates and past life relationships. This is from the Doreen Virtue Romance Angels Oracle cards. This deck has taught me so much about love. I see a lot of other readers on YouTube using this deck, and it's so awesome. Like, it's on point. I feel like it's a go-to for everyone. So when you have a soulmate, it's possible that you have some unfinished business from a past lifetime. So this may involve forgiving someone, a joint project, or learning personal lessons such as patience. Soulmates recognize each other instantly, and this feeling is often registered as a sense of romantic or sexual chemistry. The magnetism that draws two people together can surpass logic, because the purpose of the relationship is healing and learning. Now, here's a main point I want to make. Whether or not your soulmate becomes your life partner, you'll still experience personal and spiritual lessons and growth as a result. So your soulmate doesn't always become your life partner. And then there's always twin flames, which this could also be seen as like a twin flame list as well, although I might do a separate one for twins. So, you know, soulmate, twin flames, sometimes in this context, a lot of these signs can be the same. The thing about this is that they don't always end up being your life partner. A lot of times they do. But there's still going to be something you learn from them, and there's still going to be like an intensity, okay? When you kiss this person, it's going to flow, okay? It's not going to be awkward. It's going to just flow. Sometimes people report with their soulmates that like, crap, I accidentally hooked up with this person on the first date or the second date, and I feel like I blew it. And I always tell them, don't worry, if it's your soulmate, you won't. This has happened to me before, where I hooked up with someone and I was like, crap, how did that even happen? Like, I was trying to be classy, and it's just a really strong soulmate connection. And if it's a true soulmate, this person isn't going to be scared off by this. You know, I feel like usually with soulmates, the intensity can take some time to build. Like I said, usually you end up being really, really good friends. And this intensity can build over the course of weeks, months, sometimes even years before it gets to this point. But when you do actually hook up with them, it is intense. And it's like this every time. Like, it doesn't end. That, you know how sometimes in relationships, like, it wears off and you just don't want to hook up and it's been a while, and you can go weeks, months, sometimes, hopefully not even years, not hooking up with your partner. Well, with the soulmate, it's intense every single time. And it's like, you guys don't get tired of each other. Sometimes life gets busy, you can't hook up as much, but it's still like something you come back to, and it's something you yearn for. And I feel like if someone's gonna cheat, they're gonna cheat, you know, but most of the time, like, your soulmate isn't going to want to get anything else outside of the relationship, because they will feel fully satisfied, because it's such an intense chemistry and passion when you guys do hook up and when you do have intimacy. It's just like, you can't even describe it. So next, here is sign number 10, and this one's kind of silly, but it's, you just know. So you just know in your heart this is your soulmate. Like, you just feel like you know all the signs, you trust in your heart, that word comes to mind. And at the end of the day, this is just like a term. It's just a label. I'm not really big on labels, but it's something collectively many of us have decided to call just like a really strong connection you have with someone, like a heart connection, like a really, a strong bond. And so whatever you choose to call it, it's somebody, and whether you choose to believe you knew them in your past life or not, or whatever, if it's a divine thing, it doesn't even have to be that. It's just, it's a bond you share with someone. It's an energy. It's all about energy at the end of the day. And the energy between you guys, it's something you can barely describe. So I did my best at describing it in this reading, but I still feel like there's a lot I haven't touched on. So leave comments below and let me know if there's anything I left out, or any stories you want to share about your soulmate, or any questions you have about what a soulmate is. And if you have questions about your personal soulmate connection, you can always go to my website, promiseharmony.com/services, and check it out. I have a lot of different readings and Skype sessions available. I also do personal coaching. And yeah, basically the 10th sign is, you just know. You feel like it's a true love. You want to give the relationship a chance. And yeah, you feel that energy in your heart and in your soul. So thank you guys so much for coming to this reading. I hope it resonated with you, and I'll see you later. Peace out.